So what on earth does a declassified CIA psychic spy program from the Cold War have in common with a futuristic $500 billion AI project? Well, it turns out they share one very ambitious name. And the story behind it reveals this fascinating, kind of weird link between the fringe science of the past and the biggest technological moonshots of our future.
Okay, let's just dive right in. We're looking at two totally different government-backed projects separated by 50 years. On one side, you've got the original Project Stargates, this clandestine mission to try and harness psychic powers for spying. And on the other, the Stargate of today, a massive, mind-boggling plan to build the infrastructure for artificial general intelligence. Two projects, one name, and believe it or not, a surprisingly similar ambition that connects the paranormal with the powerful.
All right, to really get this strange connection, we're going to start with the Cold War origins of the first Project Stargate. We'll look at the official verdict, what the scientists said, then we'll hear from the people who were actually in the room, and after that, we'll leap forward to today to see why this name got resurrected for a massive AI moonshot. Okay, so our story kicks off in the shadowy corridors of Cold War America. This was a time when the rivalry with the Soviet Union was so intense that the government was willing to explore literally any potential edge, no matter how strange it sounded.
The whole goal of the original Stargate project, and this thing ran for over 2 decades, was to basically weaponize psychic phenomena. At its heart was something called remote viewing. That's the alleged ability to see things without your eyes, to get intel on distant or hidden targets just by using the power of your mind.
And get this wasn't just some fringe idea being kicked around. It was a real, funded government program with dedicated people, run by the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency. They were actively trying to turn what sounds like science fiction into a real tool for espionage.
But, a program this ambitious was always walking a super fine line between groundbreaking science and, well, unbelievable pseudoscience. And that brings up the one crucial question that still sparks debate today.
After all that time, all that effort, all the secrecy, did this program ever actually deliver the goods? Was it a secret weapon or just a spectacular failure?
So in 1995, the American Institutes for Research did a formal evaluation for the CIA, and their conclusion was, not great. They found the whole program was just riddled with scientific problems. The experiments were poorly controlled, they couldn't replicate the results, and critics pointed out that the viewers might have been picking up on accidental clues. But here's the kicker. The final report said it never, not once, produced a single piece of actionable intelligence.
So the final verdict was pretty clear. After spending 2 decades and about $20 million, the CIA just shut it down. They concluded it had no value to the intelligence community. Officially, Stargate was chalked up as a weird Cold War curiosity, a pseudoscientific dead end. But, and this is a big but, for the people actually inside the program, the remote viewers who spent years trying to hone this skill, the story was completely different. They were convinced they were tapping into something real. Take a look at this. This is the kind of work the practitioners were producing. These are declassified notes from a session that was targeting the Kennedy assassination. On the left, you've got a sketch that looks a whole lot like a projectile in motion. On the right, a figure peeking over a brick wall. For the viewers, this wasn't guesswork. This was raw data pulled from somewhere beyond normal perception. Here's another session. This time, the viewer was tasked with perceiving Jesus of Nazareth, and they produced this sketch of an energetic, glowing figure. See, to the people who did this, remote viewing isn't a parlor trick. It's a structured discipline. It's a way to access information our normal senses just can't reach, producing this detailed, if kind of cryptic, data on demand. Okay, now let's hit the fast forward button. We're jumping 50 years into the future, where that same controversial name has been brought back to life for one of the most ambitious tech projects in human history, trading psychic spies for silicon brains. A new Stargate is on the horizon, slated for 2025, and it is a colossal AI infrastructure project backed by tech giants like OpenAI and Microsoft. The potential price tag? It could reach $500 billion. I mean, that just completely dwarfs the $20 million they spent on its paranormal predecessor. So this project isn't just about building one AI. It's about creating the entire foundation for the next generation of artificial intelligence. We're talking massive, massive data centers and the energy grids to power them. And the ultimate goal? To achieve artificial general intelligence, or AGI. That's an AI with human-like cognitive abilities. And in doing so, to make sure America stays dominant in the global AI race.
But of course, this level of ambition is going to attract some serious skepticism. And this is where it gets interesting, because some of these new tech goals start to sound a lot like the paranormal quests of the past. Critics are drawing direct lines, arguing that the chase for AGI is just as elusive as the hunt for psychic powers ever was. They've called the AGI push snake oil and a marketing dream, while you have people like Elon Musk openly questioning if the backers even have that kind of money. The name itself almost invites the comparison, right? It carries all that baggage from a project that promised the stars and didn't really deliver.
So, what are we supposed to take away from this strange historical echo? This link between psychic spies and supercomputers? What does the story of the first Stargate tell us about the second one? When you actually lay them side by side like this, the parallels are pretty striking. Both are defined by this elusive goal, something just beyond our scientific grasp. Both are driven by geopolitical competition, the Cold War back then, the global AI race now. And both really reveal something fundamental about our ambition, this willingness to bet huge on moonshots that could either totally redefine the future or just become really expensive failures. The first Stargate ended as a dubious footnote in history. The legacy of the second one? Well, that's still to be determined.
Ultimately, that shared name, Stargate, carries the weight of history. It's a powerful reminder of the really fine line between a bold vision and an expensive folly, between a gateway to a whole new reality and a bridge to nowhere. And that leaves us with one last provocative question. Will this new moonshot actually deliver on its incredible promises? Or is it destined to follow its namesake into obscurity?